If you need super kills, or you need to generate orbs of light, with the changes orbs spawning coming, that's a little bit of a nerf. You'll want to consider different exotics that boost orb production. Now, on your helmet, if you have a stasis helmet, I don't have one on me, I believe. Oh, here we are. If you have a stasis helmet, you can get power preservation and generate more orbs of power with your super from Final Blows. So that's an option. You also have the option of, different exotics that just straight up do that, like Crest Route by Loopy. And there's many others. You just have to look at them and figure that out. How you're going to get your super back fast. I mean, Bad Juju is an option. You can definitely use Bad Juju. But I find the best way is rally flags. Now, you could easily go to any destination you want and check the map and see if there's any flags. But as you see right now, I'm looking at the moon. No flags to be seen. Now, the other option is you can always fast travel to the moon. And if you have 5 of these phantasmal fragments right here, you have the option of spending 5 of them to spawn in a banner that you can continuously rally to, get your super, and then go off to the nearest amount of enemies and pop it and get some kills. So that will be helping with that. Now, when you're doing these bounties, you can actually view your bounties while running if you pull out your ghost, and then on controller, you use the D-pad to go down, and you can view the bounties, all of them, different pages of them. And you can see what they want you to do and go and get them done. This will help you enormously to know what you need to be doing so that you don't have to like fully open your inventory and look and pay attention. Though it does give you a pretty simplified version of the bounty, like in the little tooltip it shows you. And so, if you feel like you're struggling, it may be worth reading the bounty once or twice in the menu just to make sure you fully know what it wants. Some may know that the Ghost has mods that can increase XP given. The biggest one right now is 12%, but as you can see, it will expire at the end of Season 15, which is this season. And so you'll need to go to Guiding Light. Now, there is a pretty likely shot that in Season 16, in Witch Queen, we get a new mod to replace this current one, Blinding Light. And you'll want to immediately look for that. Now, the quickest way to look into that is to go to Collections, Mods, and then Ghost and see what they've added and see if there's any uncollected mods that are now in the game that will boost XP gains. And if so, you'll want to wait to turn in your bounties until you have that. The bounties that you're going to want to be doing, I'll go ahead and pull it up for you guys real quick in case you guys want to see it on the screen. You can quickly come here and see this. I would take a screenshot of this if you need to. This will tell you exactly what you need. So as you can see here, I'll read it out. 2 Dawning Weeklies, 4 Europa Weeklies, 3 Europa Dailies, 7 Gambit Dailies, 7 Vanguard Dailies, 7 Iron Banner Weeklies, 7 Clan Weeklies, 4 Moon Weeklies, 2 Cosmodrome Weeklies, 1 Star Horse Weekly, 7 Crucible Dailies, and 7 Gunsmith Dailies. Some Gunsmith bounties and some Gambit bounties are getting removed / reworked from the game. This means you run the risk when you hold Gunsmith and Gambit bounties that some of them may get removed from your inventory going into the season, which would be unfortunate that you lose that XP. Now, this is a calculated risk for the sake of power leveling that I've decided to take. You'll notice that I said to do 7 for the Gambit, Crucible, and Gunsmith dailies instead of doing 8, also Europa. And so what that means is basically, previously, if you had 8 bounties from a past season and you carried them into a new season, the powerful that you would get from those 8 bounties would actually drop at that past season of light. And so that would be very bad to waste your powerfuls like that because of a simple mistake with bounties. But the workaround here is we hold 7 bounties from Crucible, 7 bounties from Gambit, 7 from Gunsmith, and then a total of 7, a mixture of 4 weeklies and 3 dailies for Europa. And that way, we have 7 out of 8 towards the powerful, and then we can just pick up an additional bounty from that vendor and turn it in to get to that 8 out of 8 and collect that powerful. Weeklies are 12,000 experience, and dailies are 6,000, and repeatables are 4,000. So when prepping, you really don't want to hold a single repeatable if you can help it. So if you get a bounty that says you need melee kills, or a charged melee kills, or powered melee kills, whatever it may be, melee abilities. Monte Carlo. Now, Monte Carlo rapidly reduces the cooldown of your melee based on hits with Monte Carlo, and every time you get a kill with Monte Carlo, it has a chance to completely reset the cooldown of your melee. You may get one that says you need grenade kills. You want to use a weapon that gets you the grenade faster. Now, you have the option of Wellspring, which gets you a grenade back every 8 kills. Same thing with Demolitionist, every 8 kills. And you have the option of Traveler's Chosen, which gets you all of your abilities back, all of your, well, except for your super, every single 10 kills. It used to be less, but they nerfed it. But what many people don't know is if you have Forerunner's Catalyst done, you can spawn in a Halo Fragmentation Grenade, and after every single kill. And so now you're getting a grenade every 1 kill, and that grenade actually does count for bounties and quests. An app I installed on my PC, and I highly recommend it. It's called BlueStacks. You just go on Google, type in BlueStacks, click on one of the first links. I don't know if it is the first link or not, but you'll just get it, download for whatever platform you're on, get in there. And then what it is it's this app that allows you to simulate like a phone. And so it's basically going to create a virtual phone for you automatically through your Google account. What this will allow you to do is download the Destiny Companion app that you can actually pull bounties within the app to your character. This can only be done in non-combat zones for like Orbit, for example, Helm, or Tower. You could go to Orbit, send some bounties to your character using BlueStacks with the Destiny 2 Companion app, and get right back into it. This is what it's going to look like once you get it set up and signed in. You're going to be on this screen, right? And you can select your character. I'm currently on my Hunter, I believe, and so I should be able to go up here, click Hunter, and then I can click Bounties right here, and see Acquire Bounties, Hunter. We have to wait for it to load, and sometimes it takes a second, but once it's up, it's up. And I can go down here and really pick any bounty from pretty much any vendor and grab it. And so let's say I wanted to grab a Commander Zavala bounty, right? So I'll just show you what that looks like. So I'm going to click it, and then I'm going to click Acquire, and I'm going to wait for it to like fully load and to get the check mark. I wouldn't go faster than that because it needs a second. And the thing is, it doesn't refresh naturally. And if it does, it takes a while. So what you want to do is if you need it to refresh, you want to scroll up and just keep scrolling up until you see that little refresh symbol that it did. I'll show you again. So you just keep scrolling up till it forces a refresh, and then you can scroll back down and get back to what you were doing. And now you may think, okay, this app looks really slow, but it really does save time, especially once you get it going and you kind of like get a feel for it. You'll be able to like just in between any activity you're doing, grab as many bounties as you want to get back into the next thing. And this is minimizing time spent traveling the tower, wasting time there, getting distracted and parkouring for a minute. We all do it. If you need to kill champions, for example, so maybe you need, let's say, you need to kill champions with, arc damage, or you need to stun 15 champions, right? We've also seen it where it was like kill 20 champions with stasis abilities. That was for one of the aspects or fragments in Beyond Light, and we're likely going to see something similar for the void aspects and fragments going into Witch Queen. It's typically not always like known where to go about that. People tend to think just go into a Nightfall or Lost Sector and call it a day. And there's a pretty sure shot way to do it. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to load into an Empire Hunt on Legend so that you don't matchmake with other players. It doesn't matter which Empire Hunt, just load into one on Legend. And you can go to any Lost Sector, but I highly recommend this one, Concealed Void. And you come in here, and right off the bat, you'll see, if we just run past these enemies coming up here, there is an Overload Champion. And this Overload Champion will be here every single time. So if we run back out, and to reset the Lost Sector, you want to go up to about to the top of this little ramp here, and then you can go back in and he'll be there again. We're going to get Void Aspects and Void Fragment Quest in Witch Queen. And if you remember the Stasis ones, they wanted you to get stasis ability final blows on champions, and that's not always easy to do. And so what you may not know is if you equip the class default finisher, you can get this by going to Flare and Collections, and then Finishers, and then Season 8, and just grab the one relevant to your class. And what's special about this finisher is it matches the element internally of the subclass you have on. So if you're playing Void, it would count as a Void ability kill. And so what you can do is you can come in here, and I'm on Stasis right now, but you could be on Void, you could be on Solar, you could be on Arc, doesn't matter. And I could stun this guy and get him nice and low. And then as he gets low here, I can finisher him, and it's going to count as a stasis ability kill. And then it would count as a void ability kill if I was playing a void subclass. This will allow you to get those aspects done very fast. Another resource to use is destinyrecipes.com/checklist. It's pretty much the only feature. They have other features on here, but I've never heard of anyone else using any other feature, so I just use checklist. You can track how much how far you'll go in the season pass based on how many bounties you've stocked, right here at the top here, and play with the different modifiers. And you can view the bounties that you have complete and the amount of XP that they're going to give you, and you can also see the ones that you don't have complete yet, the ones you haven't picked up yet for the week or for the day. You can see your materials and see what Spider's selling it for, if he's selling it. And you can also see a couple different recommended weapon rolls. I don't know how much I trust their weapon roll selection because it's not really their purpose. This is more of a new feature, but they're really good for tracking your materials and also providing good recommendations on which materials to save, how many to save, things like that. Oh, and you can also view your Glimmer, how much Glimmer you've stocked up at the very bottom here. I like to stock up 750k, so that's 250k on character, and then 500k in Ghost. And you can stockpile these, and what happens is every time you dismantle one, you're going to get 5 legendary shards, so your full legendary shard investment back, and 5,000 Glimmer. If you find yourself at the tower, and you'll find yourself at the tower for a lot of reasons, Spider is getting removed from the game, and his inventory selection is being moved to Raoul. He sells resources in Glimmer, for those that don't know, and sometimes he offers deals where you can trade the materials that I've just recommended to stockpile for Glimmer. And so the reason this is relevant is because if you have like 4,000 of a resource and you happen to be at the tower and he's happening to want, 20 of your material for like 10k Glimmer or whatever the trade is, you might want to do that, and I'd actually recommend doing that before touching your stockpiled Glimmer with the Ghost or Sparrows or ships or whatever you decided to save. You would want to use Spider's options beforehand. Now, some may be like, okay, well, if I have materials, why do I even need the stockpile stuff? And the answer is for bad days. There are days where Spider's just not going to have a good trade. He might want legendary shards. He might want something that you don't have a lot of. You don't know. He might offer some stupid trade you have no interest in, or like the new material that you don't have a ton of. You want to prepare so that you always have access to pretty much infinite Glimmer. Or not exactly infinite, but enough to last you through the entire expansion with no real pause. The entire expansion meaning like 2 weeks, because after day 1 I don't care what you do. Another way to get Glimmer, Rainmakers. So these last for 4 hours and make it where every precision kill you get, which you're going to get a lot of those, has a chance to drop like a shower of Glimmer. I'm not sure how much it actually gives you. I think it's a couple hundred, but it stacks up. Those should be popped pretty much 24/7. This is just a basic one, but maybe people don't think about it enough. Multitasking. What I mean by this is you need to remember that there are weapon types in slots that they're not typically in. There is a fusion rifle in the kinetic slot with Bastion. There are sniper rifles and shotguns and fusions all in the power weapon slot. You have Whisper, you have 1K, you have Darcy, Legend of Acreus, Tractor Cannon. You have options to cover these different weapon rolls and these different elements. The season pass at different levels, you get these little boosts. This is a self boost, and then as you can see, you can also get Fire Team boost. And so just to read these out to you, you get Fire Team boost, and it's always 2% every time, at 5 on the season pass, 26 on the season pass, 56 on the season pass, and 86 on the season pass. And you get self boost, also 2% every time, at 7, 16, 36, 46, 66, and 76. When you are in another person's fire team, if you are fully loaded into a destination or an activity, you will be able to open your inventory and see a little icon called Shared Wisdom. Now, you're not going to see it right now because I don't have somebody in my fire team, but I do have an image for you right here of Shared Wisdom. And so this is what it looks like. It says increase experience gains provided by a fire team member. This means the buff is in effect. If you see that, it is safe for you to turn in bounties under a few other conditions that we'll get to. But that is like the first thing you check. The next thing you check is, do you have the right ghost shell on? And not necessarily the shell, but more specifically the mods. And we mentioned this earlier, but just to double down on it, make sure you have the largest possible XP boost ghost mod. It's Blinding Light right now, but with Blinding Light leaving, you're going to want to check that collections, like I mentioned earlier, and really find out what is the best option. And then another thing is, and this is a little bit different in history. So usually at level 1 on the season pass, they have in the past a box, or in this case an exotic, and if you claim it, you get a plus 20% XP boost across the board. Now, I don't think you actually have to claim it if it's an exotic, but I would anyway, just to make sure. Plus, you're going to want to claim the exotics so that you can work on the catalyst anyway. So don't even stress that. Just claim it once and call it a day. And if there is a box, you are going to need to claim that box on one character so that you can get that 20% bonus. Just make sure you see 20% down here. You won't have any of the other buffs at the time, so you'll see the 20% there. Every single week, the first 5 levels on each character on the season pass of that week are a lot faster. Also, under no circumstances should you turn in a single bounty before you have your seasonal artifact. That would be a colossal mistake. There are so many rules about that fire team thing that I want to talk about. Now, the first thing you need to know, match-made fire teams do not count. If you load into a Crucible game, a Strike or something, and you load in, it will not give you a fire team bonus for any blueberries. Anybody with a blue name. It needs to be pure-blooded in your fire team. Fire team bonuses do work in the tower. They actually do. Tested it the other day myself. In fact, just to let you guys know, because I know a lot of people are iffy about that, this screenshot was taken in the tower with a friend. So it does. It does work in the tower. But here's the tricky thing. It's delayed working in the tower. So I've heard some cases where you've had to wait up to like a couple minutes, right, before you see that. The important thing to remember is don't turn any bounties in until you've opened your inventory and you see the buff right about here. Once again, I'll show the image. It'll be right there, and it'll say Shared Wisdom. If you don't see that, you're not turning in bounties. Now, here's the thing. Everybody's got a different fire team bonus based on where they are in the season pass. If you remember, I said that you get 2% at level 5, 4% at 26, 6% at 56, and 8% at 86. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, and I'll tell you why. XP bonuses all stack multiplicatively. Now, the reason this is important is because let's say you have Guiding Light on, which is a 10% boost, and let's say you have the 20% season pass boost, right? That's not 30%. That is 32%. So even though you may have some kid in your fire team who's, level 5 or level 26 or whatever it may be, if you have access to somebody else in your friends list or in your clan or whatever that happens to be at the next highest fire team bonus, you need to wait until you can get a hold of that kid. Now, another piece of advice, and this is very, very, very important. It only gives you the fire team bonus from one person, not multiple. So there's no reason to try and get like 4 people in your fire team. You just need one other person with you. And it's only the first person that joined. Let's say you're in Europa. You're leveling, right? And you've got a buddy with you who's level 5. So he's got a 2% fire team bonus. and you have another buddy on your friends list who's level 26, not in the fire team, and you want to turn bounties in, you need to ask that level 5 buddy to get out of your group for a few minutes so that the level 26 can join, be the now first person in the fire team, since it'll just be you and him, and his fire team bonus, once you see it on screen in your character menu, will be applied, and you'll get that 26 bonus. It's important that you see it in the character screen, and it's important that you know it's only the first person that joined. So if you had 2 people on your team and a third person joined, you're not getting that third person's. You're getting the second person's. The final rule I have about the fire team bonuses is they also only work everywhere but orbit, I guess, would be an easier way to say it. Don't try to do an orbit. It's not going to work. One final note before I end it. Your inventory space for bounties and quests is shared, and you can view it in the bottom left. It's 63. I would not let that number get past 57 for any reason. There is a bug that is reoccurring. If your quest log is 63 out of 63, and an update comes out or the expansion comes out, and they try to give you a new quest, it's going to do one of 2 things. It's either going to go to the postmaster. I know that sounds weird, but it will. Or it's just going to bug out and not give it to you until Bungie sends out a hotfix to fix it. Yeah. I think I'm going to end it there. Sorry the video was kind of like random and there's so many mistakes, but I think there's some good info in here. And I hope you guys appreciate it.